All right. Well, welcome to the extra stream for the last one. I kind of realized I was actually on something. I was on the right patch notes. My brain just read. I'm pretty sure my brain just read the month wrong, if I remember right. But I'm back at it with some patch notes stuff. I want to at least try to do this somewhat consistently. So here we go. Before we even get into the patch note thing, first, I was kind of caught off guard, low-key. I didn't think they were actually kind of being serious about it. I'm just realizing, let me move this a little bit. But I didn't think they were actually going to be serious about doubling up on the mythics. But apparently they have. And low-key, I want to stop by and just check out that first. But before I do that, wasn't there supposed to be like a skin bundle that comes alongside? Or was I tweaking when I saw that? Might have been tweaking. But yeah. Oh, it's new esports stuff. Just scroll down. Is that what it was? Was that what it was? Well, anyways. Let's go ahead and just check out the mythic real quick. I just want to do the simple preview. So, this is just a standard rat. You got the gun, which is actually pretty nice looking. We got this right here, the detonator. Couldn't remember the name of it for some reason. The mine itself, honestly pretty nice. The trap, pretty cool. And then the tire. Now, already kind of a bit of a letdown, at least for me personally. You can only customize the tire. I hate how they've decided instead we're going to do upgradable shit. But I guess it is whatever. They just always have ability visuals. But let's go ahead. I'm going to look at it with the different colors. So this is a purple and teal. And then we go to a red and blue. And I honestly really like that. This is a hair change as well. Yeah, it goes from purple, so now it's kind of white. I like that. That's pretty nice. And then we have an orange, and another blue. So blue is kind of, some form of blue is consistent through the skin. Which, all right, pretty nice. I personally like this, but I might change. Let's look right here really quick. If we just look at the tire, we have this here. Pretty nice looking one. And then we go here. Interesting. And then we go here. And I honestly kind of just like this one more than anything. Let's check out the other skins. Okay, with the red, this one looks pretty nice. I think this one's kind of the weakest one, but this one looks pretty nice. And then the fucking piss ball. All right, looks better with the red. But now, of course, the real moment. Let's check out Rat himself with this. Already looking pretty nice. We just do the comparisons. Pretty nice. Oh, also pretty nice. Actually, that might be nice. Oh. I'm liking different ones. What does the gun look like with the different colors? 1, 2, 3. I mean, that yellow design looks actually really nice. That orangey yellow. That is honestly super cool. I think this is the one I'd be running. I think this would be the run I'm running. Just to see, of course. Gilded looks cool as fuck. Let's be real. Gilded kind of looks cool as fuck. Gilded's cool as fuck. And then iridescent. Iridescent looks pretty nice. Does not look too bad, honestly. Gilded's cool as fuck, though. But now here's the real question. Let's try out the skin. I want to try it out before we actually get into the patch notes. Let's just check out the skin real quick. Okay. 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 We got a little spray paint looking thing. Like fucking paint grenades. Okay. Little tongue, buddy. Think. Yeah, that just looks normal. Okay. But now, the better question. That's pretty nice. Yeah, that's actually pretty nice. Yeah, I like the skin. Would I buy this skin? Honestly? Would I buy this skin? I would. I like that skin a lot. And I, of course, love the ability. I just love how the skin is. It just looks really nice. But, you know, with that, of course, I, of course, just had to quickly try that out. But now, let's actually get on to the other thing that I want to approach here. Let's talk about the patch notes. So, our first character in question, where there's my thing. First character in question, Diva gets a change. The extended boosters perk will now deal 100% additional damage. So let's just quickly see that. Extended boosters. This is, okay. This is kind of self-explanatory. This perk initially, all it did was just make it to where her thrusters would last a little longer, but now they do more damage. Mind you, as a quick reminder, 25 damage initially. That's a big 50 right there. Big 50 right there. So that's pretty nice. I guess it's a pretty nice change. I guess to warrant more people to use it. Yeah, I guess it warrants more people to use it. Which, hey. That's a little funny. Yeah, that's a little funny. Next up, we go to Hazard. Hazard got some interesting changes. So Spike Guard, these are copies. It glitched, I'm pretty sure. Basically, Spike Guard no longer prevents crit from being blocked. And then his cooldown is reduced by half a second on his leap. It ain't too bad. I can't really showcase the block. Can't really showcase the block one. So, I mean, that's that, right? That's that. Might be some nice changes, who knows. Orisa, Fortify and Terror Surge not only prevent headshot and critical hit. Basically this change more specifically just makes it to where Maga is much better against her. He fights a little better against her, so that's all this change really does. With Ramattra, his base health gets nerfed, or no, sorry, buffed, from 250 to 275, and then now, Relentless Form no longer has half effectiveness while in Annihilation. Kind of confused me at first when I was reading this, but from what I understand, this basically just means that, because Relentless Form, what the perk does. What Relentless Form does is this. I increase my duration by a second every single time I use I cannot speak. While Nemesis form, anytime I get a kill or taking an assist even, I get an extra an extra second, a 1 second reset. Fuck my life. A 1 second reset on its duration, right? And then what it used to do is I was able to chain that with, or get half a second extra time with the Annihilation. But now it no longer does it for Annihilation. My personal take on it, I think that was actually kind of a healthy change. But as you can also kind of... Wait, what? Did I misunderstand this? Did I misunderstand this? This could be a bug. Or this could be just something that in programming, it was a misunderstanding. And we just didn't account for this. But I think what the goal was to make it to where Annihilation wouldn't carry the 1 second. I think that was the point. But clearly not. Clearly not what happened. Clearly. Yeah, clearly that was not meant to... This was not meant to be a case. I find it hard to believe that this was the intent. Because, yeah, I can just have this go on forever. Yeah, so something tells me that this is not supposed to be the way that this perk performs right now. Just a thought, right? But, whatever, right? Ramatra's already insane anyways. I've been chaining this. How long have I been chaining this for? How long have I been chaining this for? Clearly, this is not the way it was meant to be. So, hopefully this gets fixed soon, because that probably shouldn't be the way it is. I know it looks like... I'm pretty sure it's just not to, like... Because in a team fight, this perk is even crazier. Actually, let's read the notes here. Because he did get notes, did he not? Previous change led to a healthier overall playstyle with Ramattra, but he could feel a bit too fragile in certain matchups, increasing his base health. Okay, that doesn't say anything about the Relentless Form thing. Let's go to Bull. Bull's health, his armor, base armor, is reduced. It takes from 175 to 125. Ooh, Bull gets a bit of a kick here. Yeah, Bull's a little hurt here. This basically just means that Ball is just not going to be able to soak up as much damage as he normally would. So, I mean, kind of expected. That's kind of expected. So with Zarya, this is a weird energy converter perk. Gain energy from 3 to 2. Probably a little bug in that UI there. Basically, what this change is doing. This is the one where once you get it. Yeah, it was this one. This was basically the one where you got energy every time you... Yeah, every time you hit your right clicks. Which... Okay, here's my personal take on it. This perk, yeah, it was really good because it meant that, you know, Zarya can actually keep a high charge for a pretty good amount of time. I don't think it's as good as people make it out to be, though. Is it better than, what's it, push-ups? Or, sorry, jump-ups? Her other perk? I still think this is a better one. But yeah, I think the idea was just the fact that, like, coming from someone that does play a decent amount of Zarya, I'm pretty sure the whole idea for this change was just to make it to where, like, you could avoid the situations where Zarya seemingly would just always have an absurd amount of energy charge by hurting how frequently this perk allows her to give energy, which, I mean, I guess it does do that, right? It does achieve that. But it's whatever, right? I personally don't think this hurts the perk at all, honestly. I don't think this one really hurts the perk. I think the perk is actually just fine the way it is. I don't really think this change hurts her at all. But let's go to the DPS now. I can't really display the fall off one, but this basically just means this change here. All this means is that now Ashe is doing a little more damage, or is doing more damage at a farther range. Her fall off doesn't start until 10 meters later than initial. Which, it's all right. All it does is just make her better at range. For Cass, I don't really need to showcase this one. I don't feel the need to, but we all get the idea. The nade hurts you for longer. Echo. Flight movement acceleration in the air is increased by 100% when changing directions while the flight is... I have no idea what this one means. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Maybe it's because I don't really play flyers. And more specifically, just because, like, if we look at my career profile, what do I have? Maybe 2 hours at best. That's right. Maybe 2 hours at best on Echo. Yeah, 2 hours. Only character with 2 hours at the very bottom. I don't play this character. I don't like playing her. But I honestly don't feel the difference. I don't know what this change was supposed to achieve. I don't know this. Yeah. I don't have a clue what this was achieving. But I guess whatever it was supposed to achieve, it achieved it. Maybe. I have no idea. Okay. Genji, shuriken. This basically means that the projectile size is cut in half. So Genji's projectiles are smaller. Yep, they are. Yep, they are, for sure. This was kind of an interesting change. But, it's whatever, I guess. Whatever. It's whatever. I don't really think it's that crazy. May, I literally just did May Mania, so that's unfortunate that May actually got the buff here, because May Mania was already done. That's a little whack. People are going to clown on me for that, but I haven't posted the May Mania yet, so I can just quickly re-edit the 1-bit here to fix this. But May did get a damage buff on her primary fire. So now, was it damage per... Yeah, damage over time It goes up from 100 to 110. I personally, I'm gonna be honest here, I don't really think this hurts her. I don't really think this helps her in terms of like the damage output. You still kill them at roughly the same time. Let's just test something even further though. Typically you have 50 health by the time, or not 50 health. By the time you get deep freeze to kick in with your primary fire, the enemy would have been at 100 health, but naturally we're going to overshoot a little bit just because, you know, we don't process that. It takes most players like a good quarter second to realize that, you know, okay, I froze the person. So typically they're left at around 50 health maybe. With this perk, I overcompensated a lot there. I mean, you're still getting left at roughly the same spot. You're still left at roughly the same spot. I'd have to imagine the reason that the damage buff was here is so that way you can just body shot instead of having to line up a headshot. But I think this is like probably the most pointless change I've seen in the patch notes so far, solely because Mei just doesn't need it. Like, yeah, it's good that we're dealing more damage now, but like until she gets like a bikini skin, I really don't think there's a reason to change her. But yeah, I don't know. I think this change actually is the most nothing change. I've heard people were actually already whining and complaining about this damage buff. Honestly, it's not that bad. It's nothing at all, really. This is coming from someone that does actually play a good amount of Mei now. Now that I've learned how to play Mei and have done Mei Mania, of course. But I probably might not even go back into editing just to fix this because it's such a nothing change. Like it doesn't really make a difference. But it is whatever. Next up, disruptor shot for Soj. Damage per second goes up from 80 to 90. Why did we buff that? Projectile speed increased from 30 to 40. That's okay to buff, That's honestly okay to buff. If they were going to buff anything, that should have been the only thing they buffed. Maximum travel distance. Or maximum travel. Oh, maximum. Oh, okay, I see. Duration that it travels reduced from a second to 0.75 seconds. I think I understand the change now. So it moves faster, it does a bit more damage, but it doesn't travel as long. Normally, here, let me look at just where that is. Yeah, normally this would be probably about like here-ish. Here, a better way to look at it. If I remember right from my testing that I did a while back, if I shot it from here, it would barely make it. That is the wrong button. Yeah, it is a shorter range. It is a shorter range. It is a shorter range for sure. Does it hit on the 30? Yes, it does. Okay. I think I get it. You see, unlike other characters that have kind of these zoning AoE tools, Sojourn, unless you decide to be a bitch and use deceleration field, which if you use it, again, you're a bitch. That's just the truth. But when you use disruptor shot is pretty much the whole point of it. Unlike other abilities where like there's actually a status effect, like oh it hinders you when you are in this AoE, or what am I trying to think of here? Why can I not think of the character right now? I can't think of the character. I know the character I'm trying to reference. I can't think of them. But the point is, Sojourn, her whole thing is pure damage. So I'm pretty sure they're just buffing that to drive the incentive that this is supposed to be a hurt circle that is just about hurting you. But it was already kind of driven to that point because, what is it? It's a 3-second duration, right? 3-second duration? 3.5-second duration. Initially with the 80 damage, how much damage would we be dealing that entire 3.5-second duration? That would be 270 damage per second, or in that whole thing. That whole entire thing, 270 damage per second. So this doesn't really make sense to make the damage better. I would have understood if the damage was buffed if the duration was nerfed. Because now we're basically adding 6, wait, hold on. 90, wait, I did the math wrong on, wait, no, I did do the math right on that one. So then 90 times 3, 9 times 3 is 27, and then add, so that's, ooh, I'm just gonna have to resort to a calculator. I was calculating storage space earlier. Oh shit. All right. I don't need to calculate that anymore. All right. It is 90. Let's just do 90 times 3.5. Yeah, 315 damage compared to 80. Oh, clicked out of it. Compared to 80 times 3.5. Wait, 280? I did the math all wrong, apparently. Well, then now it just begs the question. Hold on. Sorry, I gotta figure out why I got that wrong. That's why I got that wrong. Because okay, I see how I got that wrong now. You see, honestly, in my opinion, if we were to buff the damage, I think we needed to cut the duration to 3 seconds. This would be more reasonable. Like, sure, it's a net damage nerf, but you're not really looking for overall damage output with the disruptor shot. You're just looking for the damage output per second. The damage per second is already enough. We're not really looking for anything else. So that's kind of my 2 cents, my take on it. But anyways, off of Soj. Let's go back here. Sombra. Sombra gets some interesting ones. Sombra gets some changes for sure. So, hidden upload perk. Now, what this one was the one where when you hack you can hack while invis, and when you actually do that, you get an extra 2 seconds on the invis duration. Now it's 3 seconds. Pretty cool. That's fine, I guess. If we were to hop over to Sombra right now, because the other perk that got changed, she has 2 perks that got changed. All of her changes came to perks. Healthy hacker. Hidden upload. Encrypt. They don't even know the name of their own perks. That's kind of funny. All right. We'll just get those 2 on. We just hack. Let's go invis. Boom. Duration's there. Now, did hack go on a longer cooldown? It might. Huh. Why is that throwing me off? Anyways. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You could already somewhat, if you timed it perfectly, you could get 2 hacks off with the perk initially. But with the buff to this perk, this basically just means that you can more consistently get 2 hacks off. Just a lot more consistently. And then you can also do that now, which actually can make this perk pretty nice to use. Because now, as long as you get 1 hack, you can still remain invis. So you can kind of, in a way, return to perma invis Sombra if you really wanted to. Which, in that case, I can see this perk being actually pretty good. I'd have to consult my local sombra main, but he would be the best for getting this opinion on. Because this basically just allows you to have permanent stealth. If you were to time things right. Once you time things right, you have permanent stealth. Actually, my local sombra main just got on right now. How about I consult him post haste? I must consult the local sombra main. Hello, my local sombra main.
There's only a sombra main?
So, sombra, I'm going through the patch notes right now. This is the patch notes video for the extras channel. I'm on to sombra. I'm on to sombra. So, let me invite you, and then let me explain the patch notes, the change she got. So, she got a change to encrypted upload and healthy hacker, those 2 perks. So the encrypted upload is the one I'm more interested about. So that's the one, just, I mean, obviously, you know, but that's the one where, like, when you're invis and you hack, you can you get 2 extra seconds on your invis. If you properly timed it, if the timing was just perfectly right, you could get 2 hacks off while in like 1 invis. But now you can do that more consistently, and on top of that, you have a lot more freedom to get away with a permanent invis sombra if you did your timing right. And with the extra, with 3 seconds instead of 2 seconds, the duration is, like, there's a lot more freedom when you experiment with it. I don't know. I was like, I wanted to consult you on it because you are the local sombra main. You know the most about sombra than anyone else. So, like, would that change be enough to make it to where, like, you can use that perk instead of, because, like, it was already, you were already kind of, how do I explain it? How do I put it? There was already a good reason to choose Control Alt Escape and then encrypted upload. There was already a reason to choose encrypted upload because you can be more decisive on your on, like, your hacks and whatever. You don't have to commit to a. You're not forced to commit to a hack, whereas normally you'd have to just commit to it. You can still be invis and whatever. But with the change, how does it, like, with this change, do you think there's more of a reason to use the other, like use this perk, or is there less of a reason to use this perk, or is it the same? Like, what are your personal thoughts on it?
I feel like for me it's the same, honestly, because I get my permanent heal up already as I turn invis, which is better enough already.
Yeah.
Compared to her permanent fizz, because realistically, you won't be using that much, honestly. To be fucking for real, once you do that hack, you're dead me in 2 seconds, man.
Yeah. Okay.
And you're losing a self heal. For the second one, well, it's still the case. Because I pretty much don't hack medkits. I only hack people, and this the area. That's everyone. That's really good. God tier already, bro. That puts more pressure on the enemy team from the back. So they have to focus on me instead of the team right in front of them.
So is it just kind of always a playstyle preference type of thing?
Yeah, but if you want to be annoying, you just perma-hack. If you want to take away heals but give your team more healing, then yeah, just do that. But I like the more aggressive Sombra build, because you know my ass like frontlining a lot.
Yeah. So this would just not be the build for this still wouldn't be an option for aggressive Sombra players then.
Yeah, they still would be if you find a way around certain issues with it.
Yeah. Okay.
But overall, I'm still running the same perks, honestly.
All right. Yeah. I needed to consult you on it because I don't know. It's actually kind of an interesting change for how simple it is. So
I mean, it makes sense. So I mean, this perk was this perk was lacking a lot, honestly. So I can see why they did it. I can see why they did it.
Yeah. Now we've got a nice little bit of a reason
to consider, are the teams using group up or not, or do my team need more med kits and everything, and then more health for those med kits so they get more health.
Do you want to be more aggressive or more reactive to things as Sombra? Because Sombra already has like an aggressive / reactive kit. So one perk allows you to lean more into aggression. The other allows you to lean more into pacifism. So
Yep.
yeah, that's definitely a playstyle preference there. All right,
Yeah.
the other change to the other perk. This was kind of a word wall. So the healthy hacker perk, the one where hacking health, if healing from a hacked health kit gives you overhealth. Time before the overhealth degeneration increased from 6 to 10, so it takes that's second wise. So it takes 4 seconds longer for the overhealth to start decaying. Overhealth degeneration increased from 10 to 25, so it will decay faster once it starts decaying. Overhealth
Yep.
granted increased from 50 to 75, so you get more overhealth. And packs now can be picked up at full overhealth to reset the degeneration timer. Okay. So if we do the mathematics, basically you keep your overhealth for longer. When overhealth started decaying before the change, you had 50 overhealth and it would decay 10 overhealth a second. So you had so as soon as you had 5 seconds where you'd still have the overhealth as it was decaying, but now with the changes you get more overhealth, 75, but you lose 25 a second. So in return for getting more overhealth and keeping that overhealth for longer, once it starts decaying, you lose that overhealth faster. That's basically what those changes have entailed. If I can
I feel like this is
find
also
a
a
health
preference
kit.
thing. Because
Yeah.
it kind of depends. Because with Sombra's second perks, honestly, one where
Oh,
it gets countered by a
300.
by a
Fuck.
Kiriko Suzu.
Yeah, fuck my life. Sorry. I saw 300 health Sombra and I started shitting in my ass, dude. That shit fucking terrified me. Okay,
Bro,
I
flinch like
see.
an abused child. I feel that overhealth will be useful in certain situations, honestly. Especially when
Yeah.
the second perk is lacking some more shit, honestly, in my personal opinion. Like, that shit gets countered by a Kiriko Suzu, and that shit is just over.
Yeah.
Her full blood still does a lot, honestly, but the second perk, the AOE one, is really good because it forces enemy teams to not be grouped up as much, or that gives Summer more value and damage wise.
Yeah. Okay.
So yes, I
That's
feel this perk is
an
also
interesting
preference.
change. Yeah,
I see. I can
I
see
think
why they did it though.
one thing I'll always say about somber perks though, the one thing I do like about somber perks is the fact that it's very clear it's a playstyle preference thing. Unlike where other perks, it kind of just feels like they both achieve the same thing regardless of playstyle. It's just like whatever your slightest augmentations are. For this one, it's more like it's kind of predetermined in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Finally off
Yeah.
the Sombra and on to the next character. A lot of characters
Alright,
did
well, I
get
gotta play
some
with Shane.
changes.
Yeah, I gotta go play with Shane, Jeff.
Oh,
They got
good
the new perk.
luck. Yeah.
I'll see you a little bit. I'll see you later, Corey.
Later.
Bye. I'll get
Peace.
on later if it got early.
Yeah, I should still be on later.
Alright. Yep. Alright. See you, man.
All right, peace. Okay. Pulse pistols no longer gain the increased global projectile size. Oh, that was the season 9 change where everyone got bigger bullets. Basically now Tracer does not have the bigger bolts. Honestly, I don't think that's gonna hurt her, but I guess it kind of makes sense just because of how Tracer plays and how her weapons work. We're on the supports now. Oh, excuse me. Repair pack. The cooldown has been decreased from 5.5 to 5 seconds. Honestly, that was surprisingly enough. That actually was like a change that, it wasn't that bad, but it was definitely bad enough. Juno. The glide boost. Movement deceleration in the air is increased by 50 when changing directions with glide boost is okay. I struggle to read that. I have no idea what that means. Here, I think let me put a speed ring and then see if it becomes more noticeable. No idea what that means. I'm not a Juno player. I think I've voiced my hatred for this character. So before anyone says I don't hate Juno in the way you think, I have a very, very different reason to hate her. Which I honestly was debating on making a video about. So at a later time. Kiri. Don't really need to showcase this one. Ultimate cost is increased by 8, so it just takes longer to charge Kitsune. Finally, Lifeweaver. There's 6v6 changes, but 5v5 is better, and if you disagree, sorry that you're wrong. But we don't need to talk about that. That's the boring stuff. Okay, Lifeweaver. Kind of an interesting one. Oh my god. Wait. I just realized something. These were ones that I did see earlier today. I think they actually listened to me. I remember. Okay, I'll get to it in a second. So, model and hit volume size reduced by 8%. So, Lifeweaver is now smaller. And that is I noticed that. I noticed the shit out of it. Oh, wow. I noticed that a lot. Wow. Wait, that's such a throw off. That's such a throw off. Yeah, he's shorter. Now, this is a buff solely because, well, for those that may not know somehow, the petals count as his hitbox. So you actually do damage him by hitting the petals on his back. He's kind of meant to be the big target. He kind of is supposed to have this big target thing, but they changed it. They changed it, made him smaller, so he's a little more manageable. He's a little more manageable. But now, the more important changes. So, Healing Blossom and Thorn Vault, his 2 weapons. These are buffs that are shared between the 2 of them. The automatic inactive... let me just read the way it is. Automatic reload time for the inactive weapon is reduced from 2.5 seconds to 2 seconds. What this basically means, I touched it in Lifeweaver Mania, of course, but basically, Lifeweaver has this thing with his weapons where if you... Let me just shoot this and then do that. I just spray all of this and then I swap over. 2.5 seconds later, I'm at full ammo. So that is essentially, this change just made it to where it happens faster. It helps with consistency. And actually, even the developers say Lifeweaver's larger model made him much easier to hit than other supports. With his lowered health pool, this hitbox reduction offsets that loss in survivability. While weapon swap improvements make his gameplay smoother and more responsive. These are exact points that I even touched on in here, let's go. What is this? Oh yeah, I got interested in a song that she made. Let's actually find that Lifeweaver Mania. I think I touched on it in the overall verdict. An incredible strength weak, hereby sentenced on broken Legos and charge his healing blossom nails. All right, here we go. Wrong. The only critique I will give is that I think he should charge his healing blossom faster. That way he can feel a little more consistent with his healing. Even though he already is pretty consistent as is, it would just be nice. Either that or make the weapon swap speed a little faster to improve responsiveness for healing and damaging. Either one works, but he's still fine as is right now. Thank you guys. Let me get the tinfoil hat on here, but they listened to me. Of course, this is just something, right? But yeah, the other change that is entailed, though. The weapon swap speed. So it took him 1/4 of a second to swap between weapons. But now it only takes an 1/8 of a second this time. Which, let me just do this, right? Oh my god, that is so... That is so nice. Especially when I do this. I'm just gonna charge up to the third perk. All right, here we go. Y'all, I'm gonna be so real. I think Lifeweaver might be incredibly goated. I think he might be pretty goated right now. The weapon swap speed, like I already said it. I gave you the proof in the pudding. He needed a little more responsiveness. Because I feel like for a support that is solely meant to be very reactive, he just wasn't that reactive. I mean, he was still incredible as a reactive support. It's just he didn't feel as reactive as many would think. But he feels a lot more reactive now, and I like it. Especially for those like little stall and bug out moments where like, yeah, especially for those where like I'm still in attack animation for one for the blossom and I have to switch it up as soon as possible. That just feels so much better. Yeah, as someone who plays a lot of Weaver, I love this change. I love this change. Unironically, I'd actually go as far as saying this is like one of the better changes he has gotten. So, I like it. The developers cooked with this one. Developers cooked with this one. So, yeah. That is, as far as I'm concerned, I think that right there is all of the patch notes. Yes, it is. Because again, 6v6 is whack. All right, well. Oh, okay. All right, sorry. But I think that is pretty much all that I really need to touch on there. I still have these filters up. I didn't realize I was going to come back here for the convenience and stuff. So I had these up here. Just go ahead and ignore those. But of course, obviously, follow those. Wait, let me get it into, I have to use my other finger. Follow those right there. But yeah, I got to go ahead and start set up for stream. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this. And of course, I will see y'all in the next one. Excuse me. Peace out.